If you have a goal that you are so certain is going to work, that you are so sure of, why would a stable 9-to-5 jeopardize that? Hi, how are you doing? My name is emae. I am a singer, songwriter, musical theatre, actress, just all-round creative girly. Today we're going to talk about Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown told the girls to get a job.
And it's time for you to get a job.
I agree with her 100%. She was talking to the entrepreneurs, but creatives are in that as well because we are business owners. We are trying to make something of a creative pursuit that hopefully will sustain us. And her message was basically, while you wait to pursue your dreams, get a job. There's nothing wrong with working. I've spoken about this in a previous video, how just because your dream has not shown up the way that you thought it would at the time, doesn't mean that it will never show up, or doesn't mean that you're not going to reach your end goal. How do we keep showing up? How do we stay consistent? How do we just keep doing what we need to do? A lot of the discourse was have no plan B, which is the typical, what I feel is a very toxic narrative that it's either your dream or nothing. I want us to bring back big picture thinking when we are considering our dreams. If you have a goal that you are so certain is going to work, that you are so sure of, why would a stable 9-to-5 jeopardize that? Fair enough. If you get a job, you have to spend whatever it is, 16, 24, 40 hours a week doing something that might, some people perceive, to be taking away from your creative vision or from your entrepreneurial process. But on the flip side, right? How much of that time, if you don't have a steady income, if you don't have stability, how much of that time do you really spend focusing on the creative process? And how much of it do you spend running from bailiffs? Do you actually have to worry about money, so much so that you're not even spending that time really and truly on the creative process?
You're doing a lot of robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Wouldn't you rather be able to pay your bills, sleep at night, and then when you do have free time, be able to focus on your creative vision 100% stress-free? And I just want us to consider that a bit more. Take things in seasons, to be like, you know what, for now, maybe I can't focus 100% on my creative vision. Maybe I need to build some wealth. Not even wealth, like maybe I just need to make sure that there's a roof over my head and that I'm not worrying all the time about my bills. There's so much celebration around people who quit and leave everything. I was a high-flying lawyer and I quit my day job. I left my 9-to-5 to become a full-time creator. I did this, I did that. Great, but why are we not celebrating? I was in a whole bunch of debt and I realized that this was not working for me right now, so I managed to get a job to get myself out of debt.
Quit your job, take that leap of faith, quit your job with no backup plan, quit your job, chase your dream, which I did actually do that, but then a bitch went broke.
Why are we not celebrating when somebody makes a very sensible financial decision for themselves, just to sort themselves out for now?
Right now.
While still working on their vision. Let's just not lose that. Let's not think that life only has capacity for one thing at a time. That if I get a job, I'll never be able to focus on my creative pursuits or my entrepreneurial pursuits. And if I want to be an entrepreneur, then I can't do anything else. I just feel like life is big enough for us to say, you know what, maybe this isn't working as well. Maybe I should get a job. Having a job is not that terrible. I'm a pharmacist. I've been a pharmacist for 10 years. I've always worked 9-to-5. I've always had a steady job. And I've always had a job that allowed me to afford all of the things I wanted to do creatively. If I didn't have this job, I wouldn't have been able to do all my music videos. I wouldn't have been able to tour. I wouldn't have been able to do anything creatively unless it was off the back of someone else. Having that financial freedom allows you to do so much towards your own passions that you just wouldn't be able to do. I was in my 20s and I was looking around at a lot of other artists who did not have that sort of stable income. And I was just like, how are you guys, like, how are you managing? Like, this stuff is so expensive. And that was back then. I haven't had a song properly mixed and mastered and all of that. I haven't had to pay for a promotional campaign or any of the stuff that you have to do. I haven't had to pay a band, you know, to go on a tour with me or to gig for a long time. But back then, it was a lot of money. And I really tried to pay everyone fairly. Even with the deals, the mates rates that I was getting, it was still a lot of money. And I was just like, how are people doing this who don't have a job? I think we need to really think about the pros and cons of certain things. It's not that if you get a job, you're a failure, you've given up, you just were never really about this life. Maybe we need to flip it to, okay, now I have financial security. Now I can sleep well at night. Now, the time that I do have free, I can really focus. And I think that we might actually find that we are going even further when we just have a little bit of money. I just want to be the type of creative that is bold enough to make the scary decision. And the scary decision is not always let me quit my job. Sometimes the scary decision is let me get a job. Doesn't mean you have to sign your entire life away to the corporate man, right? Maybe you just need to work 1 day a week. Because it really doesn't have to be all or nothing. For some reason, in this industry, we are so wedded to struggle. We are so committed to the idea that as we are grinding, you have to hustle, you have to grind, and it's gonna be difficult and it's gonna be a struggle, and then we're gonna have this amazing story to tell once we make it. Okay, fine, but why do we have to struggle? Why can't we do the thing? Because let's not get it twisted. People in this industry don't struggle. People who have connections, people who have the network, and this is a different topic that I will speak on a different time, but there are so many people who walk straight into jobs because of who they know, where they went to school, just being in the right place at the right time. So your story, my creative story, does not automatically need to include struggle. Maybe if we get a job and make it slightly easier for ourselves, we might even get farther and we won't be burnt out by the time we get there. So that was it. Those are my thoughts. If you made it this far, let me know what you think. If you have a passion or a pursuit, should you focus on that 100% and not have any type of plan B? Or do you think that there's space for us to do several things at the same time and still achieve our primary goals? That's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.